Talk to me nice. Talk to me honestly. Look in my eyes. Don't let it fall.
We are super excited to talk to you guys today, and we're going to be talking about the balance of Workday. And you might be wondering why Workday is talking about the balance of Workday. Well, that is one of our core values. Workday has several core values, but one of our main ones is having happy employees. And we believe that if we have happy employees, we'll have happy customers. And so we're going to be talking to you guys about one of the key pieces of having happy employees, which is taking care of yourself, balancing your health, balancing your happiness, balancing your mental being. And Jasmine and I will be speaking to you guys today. A bit about myself. I'm an account executive with Workday. I've been with the company for almost 2 years now, and I absolutely love it. I am a sales rep, a field account executive, and I manage about 30 accounts here within California that are all fantastic and all in some way leveraging Workday. And prior to this, I was with Oracle.
I am Jasmine Omorogbe, a senior solution consultant, specifically with the Workday student product. So I have the opportunity to travel and to meet with universities and colleges around how Workday can transform their campus. I am, of course, a Black woman in America, which requires a lot of self-care, and I'm excited to talk to you all about this today. In terms of our agenda, we are doing introductions. We're going to move into a little bit of kind of a two-part series. So tools for better balance. We're going to reflect on where you think you are right now with balancing your workday. And then Alexia will take over and talk about building your own version of freedom. So we have some tips, some resources to share at the end as well. And we'd love for you all to stay connected with us via LinkedIn, our websites, email, etc. So let's get it started here. The first thing we're going to do as a tool for better balance is to think about the ways that we pause throughout the day. I think it's so easy to go from Zoom call to, oh, you received a text, oh, your children need this, your partner needs this. But I don't know throughout the day to just breathe. So that's where we're going to start. I'd love for us to work with this graphic, for you to take a moment, close your eyes if you feel comfortable, and we'll breathe along with this. So we'll do maybe 5 deep breaths of breathing in with the graphic, holding it, and then breathing out. If there are ways to still your hands, to calm your mind as you breathe in, hold, and breathe out. Then we'll do a couple more. Breathe in, hold, and breathe out. Let's do just one more. Little time of a couple breaths might give your nervous system time to regulate, to calm down. I know that within our days that things kind of escalate very quickly, and we don't feel like we have time. Awesome. And so with your time map, thinking about your day and how you're spending your time, is most of your time going towards email? And if Alexia, you can hit it again. Are those activities aligned with how you envision your time? I think that things like social media, things like checking emails or responding to Slack messages can often take more time than we expect. So first of all, just doing that reflection of, are you spending your time where you intend to? Then next, thinking about when you typically have the most energy in your day. Is that in the morning? Is it after lunch? You know, a lot of times there's a slump there. And if Alexia, you could advance again. Thinking about the parts of your day that you're most excited about versus the ones that you dread. So if you are doing dread during the times where you have the least energy, there's some sort of mismatch there, right? It's not a good idea. You maybe want to tackle your hardest parts of your day or the most challenging things for you when you do have the most energy. Also thinking through where you experience in your day the greatest levels of stress. So for me, that's typically like the first thing when I wake up. I have Slack messages waiting on me. I have email messages waiting on me. That's a moment of stress, whether it's great emails or things I need to respond to or not. My anxiety is a little bit heightened first thing in the morning. But then after I've taken 30 minutes, decided what I'm going to do, it's a lot easier. So thinking about what parts or what spikes of stress or anxiety do you have in your day? And then what are the triggers? And which of those can be anticipated? We know that within sales, there's a lot of things that are outside of your control, whether it be prospects or your leadership who's asking for certain things or needs numbers ASAP. Well, how do you look at what things can you expect and anticipate, and then what things are outside of your control? And Alexia, if you would advance, please. So to think, yep, there's lots of bills in here. So looking at the center of that circle, thinking about the things in your workday that you can control. What are the stressors that you have that are within your control to impact or to change or to adjust? And then how do you get those things all set so that the things that are coming at you that you can't anticipate, you're a little bit more able to handle those things. So once you have thought about your day and how you're spending your time, Alexia, now if you can advance, thinking about creating what we call like a stress map. So this is with your name at the center, and then looking at the different elements of your day that you find to be stressful, whether it be folks who are external to you and their stresses, or things that like prospects calls or meals, for example, is one for me. And Alexia, if you can advance. Okay, there might, the next slide. Okay, yeah, taking it one step further and saying, okay, well, if prospect calls are something that are an area of stress for me, well, I'm really stressed when I talk to prospect A versus prospect B. Or if it's your child, that's a source of stress. Well, they're thinking about school and their reading homework is typically the problem. But really getting down to the specific tasks or activities or requests that are causing you stress. So my example here is meals. For me during the workday, it's hard for me to remember to either eat or to have food to eat. And if Alexia, you can advance. What you can then do after you have identified the source of your stress is then to think about what are the possible solutions for that one issue. So for me, if I don't have time to cook or to eat during the day, well, one possible solution would be to order from a meal service. Okay, well, what's the very first step I would need? I would need to go to HelloFresh or go to one of those websites. But what I was saying was that example with meal prepping is to go through and think through solutions, potential solutions, whether there be 1 or 10, that could resolve the things that are causing you stress. So it seems like a pretty simple activity, but I think taking the time to do that can really help you rebalance your workday and see what things are causing you stress that you could shift or adjust, or what things you can be prepared for and how you prepare for them through your breath work, through meditation, or through some of the things that Alexia is going to talk about. So I will then pass it over to Alexia to talk about building your own version of freedom.
Great. All right, hopefully you guys can hear me. I'm gonna go through this super quickly because I feel like we've had y'all on here with some little audio issues and I feel terrible about that. But I just wanna note, you guys, everything that Jasmine shared was so incredible. And actually when she showed me that, I thought, how impressive. So hopefully you guys, when you leave today, take some of those tools and do that stress mapping. She inspired me to do it yesterday, and I think I found like 8 trigger points in my day. My idea of building freedom for myself in my day is in thinking of threes, and I'm just a person who thinks in threes. So the 3 elements that I always focus on when I'm thinking of de-stressing is my body, my mind, and my spirit. So I'm gonna just share a couple of hacks with you guys of what I do. This is very prescriptive to me. I know everyone's a little bit different, but I figured, hey, let me give you guys an example. You now have the tools from Jasmine, and I'm just gonna share what I do on a day-to-day basis or on a weekly basis. All right, so we're gonna start with the body. These are things that I do to take care of my body during the week. One of the key areas of importance that I found for myself is taking daily walks. If you guys can do it, get outside, get some sunlight, and I specifically put that on my Outlook calendar. And the reason I do that is because I wanna make sure that no one schedules anything during that time. So I pick the time of the day that I think I'm gonna get the most sunlight. I know we're all in different parts of the world. For me, that's between 12 and 1, and that is blocked off on my calendar every day without interruption. So I'll go outside, take a walk, or specifically take a run in the sun. Another one is a work from home nap. We are in the middle of a pandemic still, which makes it a really cool time actually, because working from home, it's probably the only time that you can actually lay down in between calls. So I know that you guys are bogged back to back, especially in the sales world. We've got like calls and meetings every hour, it feels like, but take a little bit of time to lay down and just let yourself de-stress, especially those of you who have kids. When they get off at 5 or 3 o'clock and you got to go pick them up, you get this one chance while they're back in school to take that nap. Another one is food alarms. I found this to be super successful because I've noticed that myself and my entire sales team do not eat on a daily basis because we forget to do so. So take your iPhone, go to your alarms, and set some alarms where you literally force yourself to eat breakfast, lunch, a snack, and dinner to keep yourself going. That brain food is so important. The next one is scheduling time for you. This is actually a tip that I learned from another teammate about a year ago. The first hour of my day, which is typically between 7:30 and 8:30 a.m., I have blocked off on my Outlook calendar to plan for the entire day. I mute my email, I mute my cell phone, and I make sure that I'm not getting anything inbound. I know that you guys totally empathize with me in understanding that in the sales world, the minute you open your email, you are just like bogged with all these different fires coming from different directions. And now your focus is all over the place, managing 15 things instead of just getting done what you needed to get done for the day. So take that first hour of the day to schedule out what has to be done, making sure you're prepped for those meetings, all those PowerPoints are cleaned up, you've done your research, you've looked up your prospects, you know who you're going to be talking to for the day. And when you open that Outlook, well, now you've got a fire coming on. You got to figure out how to handle the day. The next one is taking care of water intake. I have a great app suggestion. It's called the Water app. It tracks how much water you're drinking in a day. You input that manually yourself, and you can input different drinks, whether it's tea or coffee, etc. And you can actually put in some specifics about your body weight to make sure that you are being prescribed the correct amount of water intake needed for the day. The next is group fitness classes. I'm a huge fan of this. I love SoulCycle, Barry's boot camp, like any way that I can get in front of a ton of other people, meet folks, be the extrovert that I am, and also get a good workout and a sweat in is so helpful for me in de-stressing. The next one is pre-scheduling health appointments. I think this is key and so essential because in the sales world, we've got Q1, Q2, Q3, Q4, and boom, it all restarts again. And one thing that I've noticed is you can actually go a year and forget to do your health checkup or that dental appointment that you were supposed to do. So I always make sure that I pre-schedule my health appointments, and before leaving that doctor's office, I set a time that I know is going to work, and I can put it on my Outlook calendar and make sure that I don't have any customer meetings at that same time, whether it's 6 months from now or a year from now. And the last one is feminine self-care. Especially as a woman of color, I make sure that I have my wash day to take care of my hair. I've got my day to get my nails done, to get a facial if needed, just taking care of you, loving yourself, and putting time on your calendar to do it. I'm going to dive into my mind. These are some really, really important things to me. The first one is closing out your tabs. If you're anything like me, you've got like 15 tabs up during the day. And so I make sure that before I close my laptop, I close all my tabs so that I don't wake up the next morning to like 15 full of things to do. The next is establishing very clear communication boundaries very early on with your team. So if you haven't done that, now's the time. It's never too late. Making sure that your team knows that, hey, before 8 a.m., I will not get to that call or email. On the weekends, when I'm off, I'm off. And I have kids or pets or whatever it might be. So, after 5 o'clock or 6 o'clock, you're probably not going to hear back from me. I think it's super important to do, especially because in sales, sometimes we're online till 8 or 9 p.m. Or we kind of lose touch with that boundary. So if you haven't established it. And if you have, it's okay to reestablish it. The other one is cleaning your workspace once a week. I try to clear my desk off, get everything just fresh so that my head can be cleared. The next one, super important, probably one of my favorite hacks, extend your out of office an additional day if you're ever leaving for vacation or for medical leave. That is the smartest thing I think I've ever done, because you get back that next day and you've got 1,500 emails, and people are also expecting you to answer the emails that you're getting that day. So go ahead and extend that out of office email an extra day so that you've got some time to catch up on emails without the expectation to reply to people quickly. The next one is investing in a long monitor. This is the best purchase I've ever made. I believe most of your companies will probably expense it. But I have a super extended monitor that allows me to have 3 different screens up at once, which is great because you're not moving tabs and mitigating things. Everything's up on one page and allows you to just have a fresh look of things. And then the last one is having a change of scenery. Sometimes I will take my laptop and I'll go work at a coffee shop just to mix things up and make sure I'm not stuck in the same space consistently. Or I'll even take my little portable Wi-Fi that I think most of us on sales teams have, and work from a park if I'm doing just administrative work and I don't have to be on camera. And let me dive into my last component today, which is your soul. I think this one's probably the most important, but it takes a little bit of introspection. I was once told by someone, what made you happy when you were a kid? Make sure you stay in touch with that as an adult. And it's something that I've honed in on in the past year, doing things that I used to love as a little girl, keeping little Alexia happy. So for me, that's golfing. I love to get out on the greens and play. I like to listen to music. I always have. So I'll make sure that when I'm done working or even during working, I'm playing some classical music, or I've got some of my favorite jams playing at 5 o'clock when I'm doing some of my Salesforce inputting, my administrative work. I'm a big wine person, so I like to have a glass of Rombauer on the weekends. When I grew up, I loved going to orchestras and theater plays with my mom. So that's something that I try to incorporate here and there. And I love to plan a me date for myself. Ladies, if there's something that I can suggest, it's once a month, take yourself on a me date somewhere new. And then the last one is just remaining authentic to yourself. We're all super multifaceted, and being women of color in this space, it is so important to remain connected to who you are. So I make sure that on my off time, I'm spending time with other people and familiar faces that look like me, going to other events where I can see other Black folks, and just be true to myself as often as possible. So for the sake of time, we're at 30 minutes. I'm going to jump to our final slides here, and we want to stay connected to you guys. Jasmine has listed some fantastic resources. Jasmine, are you there to quickly go through these?
Yes, if you can hear me now.
Yeah.
All right. So just wanted to highlight Shine is started by 2 women of color, meditations, affirmations, really good for daily messaging. And then the others are resources, podcasts, books. The last one is Meetup. And I just wanted to highlight how important it is for us to be in community with one another. And it's a great place to meet other Black women, other Black professionals. And then lastly, if you would stay connected to us, we would love to keep in touch with you. Workday has a ton of opportunities. We're growing really quickly. We'd love for you to connect with us on LinkedIn, emails, etc. We also super thank you for your patience with our technical challenges today. Alexia?
That's about it, you guys. Thank you so much for your time. If you have questions, as Jasmine said, reach out to us. Hopefully this is not the last time we will see you guys.